Check one, two.
Got you. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Boom.
All right, Chaz, welcome back to the show.
Which Italian venue are you in currently?
We're now in an airport courtyard Marriott by Venice Airport.
Living the best life.
Can you hear the music playing in the
I
lobby?
wish I could. I absolutely wish I could. Dang Zoom for being so good at cutting out background noise.
I know it's kind of amazing technology that they have. Um, but yeah, I think it's Roy Orbison, maybe is what's playing right now.
I like it. I like it a lot. The what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite airport hotel chain, or is it all the same to you? Is a Comfort Inn the same as a Marriott Courtyards, the same as a what? Any of them?
I don't have a favorite, but I am a Marriott Bonvoy member. And so you always try to
Mm,
prioritize Marriott's to gain points. But what I don't really understand is my points have never amounted to anything.
yeah. Yeah. I think the Bonvoy Marriott one in particular uh is a absolute scam.
I hope the word gets out based on the popularity of this podcast and they reach out to me and somehow make it right because I don't travel like, I'm not a businessman traveling 200 days a year. And I also, the other thing is I don't have the credit card with the Bonvoy points.
Oh yeah.
It's just my only points are accumulated through nights stays. And so I've been staying in Marriott's for 5 years. I haven't even gotten one night free. And I
Yeah.
tried to use them one time. Actually, we tried to use them in Venice while we were here because like there's three different Venice hotels, Marriott Venice hotels. We stayed in the entry level one, but a buddy was like, just use your points and go to the gritty.
Yeah.
And I look up the gritty and it was like, I don't know, 1,200 bucks a night. But he's like, no, nobody pays that. You just use your points. I'm like, really? I tried to use my points. I wasn't even gonna get half a night for free.
5 years. 5 years of being a faithful Bonvoy Marriott customer, and this is what you get.
Nothing.
Yep.
So no,
You
the,
and
the
Joel
answer to your
Tudor.
question, yeah, the answer to your question is no, I still don't have a favorite despite using them solely. Um, but we are at that point in the trip where you're literally like at your wit's end. You're at the airport hotel. I'm gonna eat a meal. It's not gonna be anywhere. It won't even be as good as American Italian food. It'll be like basically airport food, and you just want to get home.
I'll tell you what, though, about the airport hotel is at this point, like, there are those people, right, where you have a X amount of time. What time is your flight tomorrow?
8 a.m. So we
Yeah,
got to
so
leave
early
the
flight,
hotel
but
at 6.
yeah, but there's people who would think, you know what, we have another night in Venice. There's no way I'm wasting this at the airport hotel. I'm gonna go back into town, do one more hurrah, et cetera, et cetera. I love those people and I appreciate those people. But for me, I will take an airport hotel, the crappiest one, over one more night doing something fun at the end of a trip.
We got here and we're like, we're not leaving the room. We're
Yeah,
or whatever the restaurant is downstairs is where we're eating. We don't care how bad it is because you cannot talk me into getting in a cab to go somewhere.
there's no more fun to be had. All the fun has been had.
Well, the stress of getting from point A to B to C to all the way to Z, and you land at Z, and you're like, I'm done. I'm
I got
checked
nothing
out
else.
mentally. So this is going to be
Uh,
a great show.
are you are you feeling despondent about heading home, or is your heart been filled with culture and good food and all the things that America does not have, except for the
I'm
Deep South?
feeling, I'm feeling ambitious to make more money so that I could do this more.
Great. That's a great feeling at the end of a trip. The clarity of vision that fades within 48 hours of landing back home, but that 48 hours of like, you know what? There is I'm gonna make hay while this sun shines.
I'm like, this is the lifestyle I want to live. Why can't I live it more frequently?
Yeah. Just need more
There's an
money.
answer.
Yeah.
Need more money.
Yeah. Easy.
Even now, I've transitioned off Negronis onto Campari and soda.
So you're just getting ready for you're letting yourself down easy. Oh, or you're transitioning to keep your brain sharp so you can come up with money-making plans on the plane home.
No, both of those are ancillary benefits, but no, the reason is a Negroni is 3 times the price. And
Oh,
I'm towards the end of the trip, and it's just like, this has been way too expensive. Cut it down. How much is a Campari soda? $3 as opposed to a $15 Negroni. Boom.
done and dusted. Make it look at you you're making money already.
Already enacting the plan for
Yep.
future Negroni purchases.
Great.
Have you had Campari soda?
Yeah. Campari soda is pretty
It's
it gives you a weird or it gives me kind of a weird feeling behind the eyeballs.
I don't even
Like
know what that means.
well it's one of those like boozies that's so light in booze but you can still feel it barely. I don't know. There's something like odd about what it is.
So Aperol Spritz is kind of the common thing. Also cheap, by the way. But it's too sweet for me.
Yeah.
Like I like the festiveness of it, but it's sweet. And so then sometimes I go Negroni, but Negroni is too potent. And so I saw Campari Spritz on the menu somewhere, and it's just the Campari, which is bitter like the Negroni. It tastes like the Negroni, but the Spritz portion is just soda water. So it's not the sweetness of Prosecco or any of the flavor of Prosecco. It's just the soda water, festive, plus bitter, delicious.
Are you going to bring the Campari soda back home? Are you going to feature it at Lee Scales soirees?
I think I should.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
nice.
knows it.
No, it's nice when you bring something home from foreign shores, when you can educate your neighbors.
All right. Well, for any of my neighbors who listen, that's the teaser. What you're getting next week. Um, the opposite of a teaser, reviewing last week's content. Get any feedback, or did you hear from Jack Johnson's people?
I didn't, nor did I hear from Rob Machado's people, which made me think, and by Rob Machado's people, I mean from Rob Machado, which made me think, oh, I hope I didn't hurt feelings. I hope that I didn't go too far. I tried to praise the person whilst poisoning the music, but hopefully it wasn't all taken. You know what, man? You just crossed a line. That was my red line was my easy listening guitar strum, and you went and crossed it.
Well, maybe he's had a busy week. He hasn't gotten around to listening yet, and it's still coming.
Let's hope.
Did you hear from anybody on the internet about your Jack Johnson takes?
Only one person. Had one person send a wonderful DM that said, I hated Jack. It was a good story about hating Jack Johnson and his buddy. I think he accidentally had a Jack Johnson CD in his car and they were driving around and his buddy threw it out the window. And they would go to Jack Johnson concerts just to laugh at everything that was happening. And I thought, my people.
That sounds like two closeted Jack Johnson fans where they're like, I hate him. I hate him too. You want to go to his concert?
Yeah.
Let's give him money. Let's give him money to go laugh.
Just to mock.
The third buddy was like, let's just watch Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And they're like,
No,
no,
man.
no,
It's gonna be so much
that's
funnier.
not funny enough.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson, way funnier. Let's go give him $100 and go laugh at him.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of feedback for you about Jack, and I will read
Great.
some of it to you if you'd like.
Great. Am I gonna be put right in my place?
Um, you will want. I gave you a measured balance of it all, so
Okay.
you'll be supported, you'll be put in your place, and then you'll be left to ponder
Okay.
deeply.
Great. I'm ready for this journey.
Three different feedbacks. Oh, and a few that I'm not going to read to you were along the vein of Jack Johnson helped them get laid in high school.
Okay. Great.
So
Understood.
like if you were with a girl, you're going out on a date and you put Jack Johnson on in the car, it's like the old school Barry White, basically, or
Yeah.
the new school Barry White.
Magic. Magic in the air.
So people are
Some
appreciative
sensual
of,
magic.
and I think people just had a general appreciation for him for what they did in their life for them.
Okay.
So first email came through. It said, Chaz is right. He's always right. This was the
Ooh.
subject header. And he goes, first the Grateful Dead, and then reggae, and now Jack Johnson. Chaz is the exception to the rule that surfers have terrible taste in music. Terrible, all caps, exclamation point. Jack Johnson is one of those people who if I find out a person I know, usually a surfer, likes his music, it invalidates all of their opinions on pretty much everything. Same goes for Sublime, though I probably give reggae and Grateful Dead fans a bit more leeway. Hard to paint deadheads with the same brush when bands like the Meat Puppets and Garcia Peoples are out there. I used to give DLS credit for his deep commitment to Dylan, but his support for Jack Johnson has given me a reason for pause. How does anyone who knows Dylan's unreleased canon of bootlegs as DLS hear Jack Johnson and say, "This is good. I like this"? Apparently, that was a quote that I said. I don't even remember saying that. Um, he goes on and says, "It's Van Halen, not Van Hagar. Keep work, Cracky Onassis."
Bam, Cracky, thank you so much. I feel heard. I feel seen. Thank you. Uh, and as you're reading, like the uh comfort lifestyle, and this is a broader, I think, issue. The let's be lazy lifestyle of, or let's not think, let's not try of reggae, of dead music, of Jack Johnson applied to certain. This is how we have wave storms. So many wave storms in the lineup. Let's do it the easy way, man. Let's just chill out. Look what happened. Look what happened to all of us, thanks to surfers' taste in music. Let's not chill out.
Soft,
Yeah,
literal soft tops.
soft tops. Okay, so
Well,
I'm even more further convinced now of my righteousness.
okay, well, somebody else I think probably they reveal their age in this one, but the first email didn't. I'm gonna guess there's a 30-year age disparity here.
Okay,
So I think this is where we're gonna find a dividing line among
okay.
fans versus non-fans. The email subject said post 9/11 hippie rock. And the email said, while I disagree with objective value statements around how individual brain chemistries react to music genres, aka I'm a Jack Johnson fan, there is more context for the rise of acoustic hippie nothing music. I'm 32, and I imagine Jack Johnson's fan base is entirely middle millennials. Everyone in my age group experienced 9/11 as a core childhood memory. We then watched years of escalation as the Iraq War got more and more involved. Then came the '08 financial crisis. We approached adulthood watching older kids go to war, our parents lose their retirement, and have technology constantly changing our day to day life. Jack Johnson has exploited the tense situation and gave everyone a quick moment to relax. Sure, it's infantile, but at least it's not complicated.
Smart, smart, smart analysis there, which I could fully see. I mean, just thinking as you're reading, growing up, again, we've talked about this, or for my growing up, uh, a vague threat of nuclear war with Russia was the only thing that was ever, you know, I don't know, floated. Uh, but yeah, it's not like I grew up during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's not like I was there for the hot, it had already cooled down so much by my in my Reagan years. And so of course, everything is comfortable. Everything's cooking along. Economy's great. Stuff's working. Uh, and so we needed punk rock. We needed to shatter the everything was too good. We needed something messy and angry.
Completely. Um, I relate to this, or I can kind of I I'm 40, what am I? 43. And so Jack Johnson came, I think landed when I was in college. And so some of this resonates with me a little bit, and I kind of understand. But what I connect it to is at that time, I was also working in restaurants and I would work till midnight. And then I'd get home so exhausted with food, finally get a chance to eat. And I would turn on the crappiest television that existed.
Sure.
And it was Nick and Jessica. What that show was called The Newlyweds. It was Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson. They had
Yeah.
a reality show on MTV or whatever it was, Or and then it was like the Anna Nicole show would come on after that or something. And I was
Be
just
like,
like,
perfect. Give me some of that.
I want to not think at all and just gawk at these people.
Yeah.
you know? And I think that's similar. It's something is relaxing about that when you're in that level of intense exhaustion.
Okay, but and I fully hear what dear listener is saying. I understand as a cultural, like the cultural value or the cultural difference here of how this came about. But still, man, I can't. I mean, you listen to some Yusuf Islam. Listen to some what else? What else we got in the not all quiet acousticy stuff is bad. Uh I like
Well, so that I I was going to make that argument as well, um, to counteract the argument I just made, which was left to if you just fall into that rut, you end up writing soft tops, listening to terrible music, watching reality TV. And yes, it's unfortunate that you were raised at a time in an environment where the world was falling apart. But if you just accept it and default into the comforts or the easiness, that doesn't get you out of that rut.
uh, point one and point two. If you really need auditory soothing, there's such thing as Sweet Baby James, James Taylor, et cetera, right? Like there
Ooh.
is good versions of uh soft guitar based music. Jack Johnson, love him. Sure, best guy on earth. I'm sure he's done more for more communities than James Taylor ever did. But musically, he sucks. There's nothing good there. And there is good versions of what he does.
It's Are you a big James Taylor fan?
Not a huge fan, but when James Taylor comes on, I'm like, ooh, this is a sweet tune. Listen to his soothing voice, those like easy listening melodies, fine music.
It's no joke. His music's incredible.
Yeah,
Like you said, when a James Taylor, I own one album, and I forget the name of it. It's the album that has Mexico on it. You
yeah.
know that song Mexico?
Oh, Mexico.
Down in
Never
Mexico.
really been, but I always wondered why you never been to Mexico. You're so close, James Taylor. Just go to Mexico.
You're literally a millionaire. Go to Mexico. It's cheap too. And you sing about it.
Yeah.
You took the effort to write a song. You can't just book a flight. Um, that's my favorite James Taylor song also, but that's the only album I have of his. But I do, so I don't know his whole catalog, but when you hear a song, you're like, incredible,
That's it's fine music, right? And like James Taylor, I
incredible.
will give talent. Jack Johnson just doesn't have talent. And again, he is an A plus human being. He is a father, a husband, a role model. He just doesn't have any musical talent.
So I started by asking if you heard from his people and you said no. If you would have said yes, I'd be like, okay, done. We don't have to talk about Jack Johnson anymore. I
Yeah.
want to talk about him until he hears about it.
I mean,
So we're going to keep this charade going.
great, great, great.
Uh, Also, I want to go back to the first email real quick. With Cracky Onassis saying I was a Jack Johnson fan. I don't remember stating that. Uh, and I feel a little bit mischaracterized by that. I
I
bought
think I think you
Brushfire
gave
Fairy
room. You
Tales.
made room for Jack Johnson.
I bought Brushfire Fairy Tales when it first came out because of his affiliation with the surf world, and I wanted to support him. And I did love that album. That was a good album. Oh no, I just stepped in it. You know what? The Curious George soundtrack's really good too. Okay, fine. I am a fan, I guess. I've never been to his concert. I only bought one album, and I think I streamed Curious George just on Spotify, probably. So I don't think he earned that much money off me there. But he got $20 for Brushfire Fairy Tales off of me, and I did have that on repeat.
I mean, I'm glad. I want Jack Johnson to be supported. I just wish he would stop playing music and that people could support him to be quiet.
Okay. Now, the third email I'm going to read to you identifies precisely why you feel that way.
Okay.
Okay. Dearest DLS and Chaz, I'm listening to this week's episode of The Grit, and I found myself chuckling at Chaz's latest take regarding the hatred of Jack Johnson's music. As I laughed to myself, I made a huge discovery that I think that the Grit universe should know about. It's well established that Chaz, like all of us, has some childish preferences not the Epstein kind. The most egregious being his preference for mixing his runny eggs with ketchup to make a breakfast concoction of sweet and savory that only occurs on his plate. And when a 2-year old is first introduced to eggs and his parents give him ketchup to motivate him to eat the nutritious portion of his meal. But I digress. Do you want to comment on that before I move on?
I mean, yeah, it's indefensible, but it is so damn good.
Okay. Okay. We all heard Chaz get bodied by Britt Merrick when Chaz tried to discount the legendary rock group The Grateful Dead and their guitar forward sound led by the classically trained Jerry Garcia. Additionally, lest we forget the no barrel discussion of, quote, random guitar guy at a party and Chaz's anecdote of random guitar guy being none other than the discreet Father John Misty.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Remember that?
I I do now, but I love when I read emails from people and I'm like, that's an incredible detail.
Yeah.
How did I forget that?
Yeah. It's a good one.
Father John Misty playing guitar randomly at a party.
Yep.
Uh,
In front of
okay.
6 people.
Okay.
Like, what
Carrying on with the email.
poser?
Yeah. So carrying on with email. Today, Chaz has come clean about hating the surf folk genre established by Jack Johnson, Donovan Frankenreiter, and other similar surfers that can play guitar. Um, I too am not the biggest fan of this music now, but now that I'm an adult, sure, I've had some songs I like by those artists, but I cringe every time I hear banana pancakes at a seaside brunch spot. Considering the thoughts shared by our dear Chaz and the vision given to me by the gods themselves, I think I might have uncovered the juiciest and one of the saddest stories of the year. The one common thread that I can find in Chaz's hatred of various musicians is the instrument that they play, the guitar. This harmless instrument seems to be generating a lot of hatred and anger within our beloved Chaz. Only one connection to this instrument could conjure up such strong feelings, and that is young love. So let me paint you a picture. We're in Coos Bay, Oregon, 1995. It's the peak of the grunge era, and Charlie is a senior in high school. It's a cold, rainy Friday night, and Charlie Smith is dressed in his finest ripped denim combat boots and a red flannel. He's looking for what most high school boys are looking for on a Friday night. A weekend romance. As such, Charlie decides to go to a party hosted by one of his class acquaintances. Charlie walks into a house party, slicks his hair back, and immediately spots a beautiful girl across the room. His heart starts pounding and he starts assessing the situation. He's thinking, this girl could be my weekend hookup if I play this just right. He's running through a catalog of pickup lines and trying to come up with the right concoction of words to start a conversation with this beautiful girl. He decides on a line, walks up, and starts the conversation. They hit it off. They're giggling, smiling, connecting on a variety of topics over mildly cold beer in a solo cup. All of a sudden, the music stops, heads turn toward the speaker, and the host of the party yells, "Hey, everyone, John is going to play us a couple of songs on his guitar." Everyone hushes and gathers around a semicircle around John as he's tuning his guitar. John is also wearing denim jeans, combat boots, and a flannel. However, John is a bit less attractive than Charlie, with unkempt hair and a soft jawline covered by a relatively patchy neckbeard. Although Charlie's girl is no longer engaged in their conversation, they continue to smile at one another and shoot each other side smiles before the performance begins. The performance has been a little speed bump in Charlie's attempt for the weekend romance, but he doesn't panic. For all he knows, John could suck at the guitar and make a fool of himself. This would not only be hilarious, but it would also be a great conversation piece for the rest of the night. John strums a couple of chords, which sound full and vibrant, and he then begins to play the most beautiful version of Wonderwall that Charlie has ever heard. John's tempo was impeccable. His voice was deep and melodic, and his guitar playing was the best Charlie's heard in the 17 years around the sun. John had captivated the entire party, and when he finished the song, he received a vigorous applause, and the partygoers hooting and yelling, "Play another, play another." John continued to play and play and play until the wee hours of the night. After listening to many songs and consuming many beers, Charlie had a full bladder. Charlie left the living room to find a place to relieve himself and eventually found his way back to hear the rest of the performance. But it was too late. Charlie's sweet angel that he had been chatting up and wandered up to the front of the crowd and was gazing into John's soft brown eyes. She was under John's spell. John, the random guitar player, had stolen Charlie's girl. Charlie was crushed, and he walked home wondering why the universe had forsaken him on his Friday night quest for romance. And that, my friends, is why Chaz hates guitars. Work, James in SD.
Thank you, James in San Diego. And as I was listening, it's close. Except it's not high school. And it's not as much romance related, but in college, there'd be the dude. Like it was such a, and hearing John's description, it is that. It's the dude who,
James.
James's, sorry, James's description, it's that. It is the dude who incorporated the acoustic guitar. And I went to a Christian college, of course. So this then becomes a lot more layered with like the spiritual elements of the dude just singing and praying some worship music, right? I loathe that dude. And there's a direct line between that to Jack Johnson. It is the dude playing for a reaction. Not that Jack's playing for a reaction, but yeah, Jack's playing for a reaction because his music sucks. You would never play that music other than trying to kind of get babes into you, right? It's the only reason for that. Jack, I mean, which is the weird thing about Jack, Kelly, and Rob. They went into a room together at some point and played get girl songs, crappy, easy, sugary get girl songs to each other, ostensibly. Like, that's
Well,
what they
no.
did. I mean, that's the,
Maybe that happened eventually because they're friends and because they play guitars. That happened eventually, but they started playing the guitar for the first reason,
yeah, I mean,
which
for
was to
sure.
get
But
girls. It
the get
wasn't
girl
to
song,
eventually play to.
but like the Get Girl song is such bad music. Like always. The dude who would go, it's Wonderwall. Exactly. It's a bad cover of Wonderwall, right? Where ching 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 you like it goes nowhere. Uh it's saccharine sweet and it's not worth playing unless you're going get girl.
Now, I'm curious if we can define a difference between the examples that you've defined as good,
Like
i.e.,
James Taylor,
James Taylor, versus those examples.
Jack
Like,
Johnson, and Kelly
yeah,
Slater.
because was when James was 20 playing the guitar, was it to get laid?
Uh, I mean, I think the argument could be made that's integral to any aspiring rock and roller or musician, right?
I disagree. So that's where I think the distinction
Okay.
is I don't think that was a motivator at all for James Taylor.
James Taylor just had, I mean, and it wasn't, it, okay, let's go further. Let's go into Bob Dylan. Uh,
Great.
was it a motivator for Bob Dylan? He's a small Jewish kid. He's a small Jewish outcast nobody.
I think of him, I think of Paul Simon.
Yep.
Those guys were so freaking nerdy that I mean, I guess you could make the argument they were so nerdy that was their only option to try
Yeah.
to get laid, but I don't think that's what it was. I think they had 100 songs in the bag before they ever went out in public to play for a girl.
Well, and then
And
back and
and then they did it and they did it so nervously and like
halting.
eventually girls, yeah, exactly. And eventually girls would come up and throw themselves at them. And so it, I don't know a lot about Paul Simon's love life, but I think Bob Dylan's been around the block a few times. So
But
eventually he embraced the benefits of that. But that to
it
me doesn't
was
feel like the initial conceit.
okay. And also going back to James Taylor. James Taylor is a very handsome dude, or especially was a very handsome dude. He was like classically handsome. So he would not have needed any uh anything else in order to help him with the fair sex, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Jack Johnson straddles that line of he's fine enough, but you're nobody's ever going to look at Jack Johnson and say hunka hunka, right? Jack Johnson picks up a guitar and starts strumming banana pancakes, and all of a sudden now, which is exactly what happened in college. It was that dude. It was the mid-tier dude who often had a shaved head, like Jack Johnson, who would drag their acoustic guitar around, set up, like try to be that like wouldn't ask people to gather around but set up somewhere where people inevitably were going to gather around, right, and just be closing eyes. I hated that dude, loathed that dude.
So, so is it possible we just stumbled upon you can define whether this style of music is either good or bad based on the initial conceit?
Yes,
And if the initial conceit was for this guy to get laid,
it's bad.
music sucks.
Yeah, sorry, Rob Machado. Yes.
Now what's interesting is change genders. Like Joni Mitchell,
Yeah.
I don't think I could be wrong. I don't know if when she started doing her thing, it opened up a bunch of more romantic opportunities for her.
Yeah, tough to say on that one. She was with Bobby D, right? Wasn't that the movie, Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan?
It
Or
wasn't
who was
Joni
that?
Mitchell,
Who was
Joan Baez.
Joan Baez and Bob Dylan? Yeah, so Joan Baez as well though, right? Like uh
But that's
I,
a proximity thing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they're into the same thing.
sure,
They're
but
proximity and
I'm just saying I
but
don't think
it's not
Joan
like
Baez started playing music to snag dudes.
no, 100, that's my point, is
Yes.
100%. That's not the motivator. They're into songwriting, they're into singing. Whereas I feel like take a pop star scenario. Um, I can't think of like a manufactured pop star female, but
Uh
who,
Sabrina Carpenter.
okay. I don't know. Does she have a good voice? Does
I mean, she's fine enough, but she's like a Disney, she's like
okay.
super popular now, but she's like came up through the Disney pipeline. So I'm sure she's talented and whatnot, but she's also
Well,
a creation.
I don't know her. What I'm thinking of is like the hypersexualized female pop star manufactured that doesn't necessarily have singing chops. She doesn't do her own songwriting. She doesn't play an instrument. To me, that's always been offensive because I can read through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's no talent here. It's trying to play into my base instincts. I'm
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that I'm applying to the dude singers that we're
Got
talking
it.
about.
Okay. Perfect. I like it because there's no talent. The only talent that uh manufactured pop star girl and Jack Johnson have is to get people to pay attention. Like they have the thing where, oh, look, I'll look at this, I'll look over here. But there's no musical talent. And I'm sure Jack Johnson, if he was running for president of the United States, he would have my vote. I'm sure he is right and correct on all ideals that he holds dear. I'm sure he is the most upstanding person on earth. He just plays horrible music.
He just knows three chords on a
He knows
guitar.
through, and but this is it. It's a look at me thing, right? And I'm sure Jack Johnson, when it first started, I wasn't there, but I would imagine room on the North Shore, surfer dudes being surfy dude, uh, North Shore women coming in, like the traveling kind of circus in and out of this house, guitar in the corner. Somebody goads Jack Johnson, go pick that guitar up. You can play guitar. Jack Johnson starts doing it. Boom. That's how this whole thing was born, which again is a 100% uh, verifies your theory. It was music born out of trying to get girls to look over.
There you go. Stumbled
Done.
upon something as we often do.
Yep. Kelly.
Well, thanks, James and SD, for that. That was propelled us down the path.
Yes.
You want to hear Pros in the Wild?
Yes, I sure do.
Guess who it features?
Tom Curran.
Nope.
Ooh. Jack
There's
Johnson.
there's actually two. Hey DLS and Chaz, I've got a Pros in the Wild for you. Actually, two Pros in the Wilds. The first was 2001. I'm on a 3-month surf voyage in Oz, starting in New South Wales, up to Noosa, through the Goldie, down to Bells Beach, and back to New South Wales. My first encounter location, Newport, New South Wales, was surfing a mediocre 2 to 3 foot beach break, and I kept watching this guy sliding all over the waves like I had never seen, except for in the film Litmus. After my session, I was rinsing off, hence living out of a van, so my only form of a shower. And Derek Hynd starts showering next to me. I, of course, didn't engage with him. That would be weird, but was definitely a bit starstruck. Needless to say, Derek Hynd did rinse off after a session. So maybe Chaz isn't entirely right about keeping that sweet, salty brine on your body all day.
I 100 like I'm gonna say there was some other thing happening at Newport in Australia. There was a little pollution in the water that Derek Hines sniffed out that he needed to rinse off.
That's possible. The other thing I was thinking is Derek's going to surf twice a day at
Yeah,
least. So
yeah,
he's probably going to like somewhere he needed to be clean for, and he's coming back to surf later.
good job.
Um, but my second encounter while in Byron Bay, for the Blues and Roots Festival that I was surfing.
Oh,
I was there for the Blues and Root Festival. I was surfing the pass on a pretty perfect log day. And to my surprise, Jack Johnson sitting
boom.
amongst us common folk. I started paddling for a perfect little waist high peeler, and who drops in on me? But Mr. Banana Pancake Maestro himself. I had no problem with it because it was Jack Johnson. So after some time passes, another set is coming. He's on it, but I was in position. I stood my ground and hooted that I was on it, and he kicked out. After a decent little ride, dodging other surfers, I kicked out, paddled back out to the lineup, and I got a little nod from Mr. Bubble Toes. That's Then that night he played, and it was a stellar performance. Do work, Matt Scaling.
Matt, thank you so much for reaching out. Man, I cannot. Maybe this is all early part of my disdain, even though it's correct. I'm 100% right in it. Uh, him talking about the Blues and Roots Festival. I can't imagine anything worse. And my mind traipses back to when Young would go camping down California coast every August with family. So we'd start in, growing up in Coos Bay, we'd start in the Redwoods and then camp for 5 days or whatever in Santa Cruz, go down to Pismo Beach, camp there for however long, end up eventually Southern California where grandma lived. But up in the um, first stop, Richardson Grove, I believe, was the campground. They would do, and I think it's still going on. But this was, I was a young boy, impressionable young boy. Uh, they had this thing up there called Reggae on the River, and it was like just white Rasta pasta, like you can't even begin to imagine. And imagine that blasting into my 9-year-old brain. It probably fried the circuits of like this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life and heard.
Again, the more details we get, the more it all makes sense.
Yeah. But
What did
a blues and roots festival in uh Byron, I literally and truly and honestly, and I am not joking, cannot imagine anything worse than that culturally on the face of this earth. I would rather be in Long Beach at a Sublime concert. I would rather be anywhere. Give me bad, and I will take that over the Blues and Roots Festival in Byron.
I'll come up with a list of things that are terrible, and we'll stack them against that, and you have to
Okay.
decide.
Okay. Great.
It'll be a
There's a
new
whole new
segment of the
segment.
show. Um, what about Sublime? Back to Crackyonassus. What are your
I
thoughts
hate
on
Sublime too.
Sublime?
I've always hated Sublime. I've always hated Sublime.
So I understand the hatred, but my introduction was through Lost films in the mid
Yeah.
90s. They were using Sublime songs from Robin the Hood. There was an album called Robin the Hood before 40 Ounces to Freedom. So some of those songs are in, I think, What's Really Going On before What's Really Going Wrong. And I was like, this is like um super provocative. Like they're talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, basically. But like, and they're from Long Beach, which was nearby. I was born in Long Beach, so like there was that adjacency. So I was like, this stuff's raw, and it's really, really. I liked it a lot, and it fit the surfing really, really well. Then 40 ounces to freedom hit, and they blew up, and it was like these people who the little subcultures and cliques that existed in high school, the people that were furthest from my little surf subculture, the complete opposite, were now listening to Sublime. And it was like this really confronting thing where it's like, do I have to abandon? I mean, this happens all the time when people, there's jokes about, I knew the band before they got famous, but this was
Sure.
that example for me to where I really had to confront whether I can continue to appreciate Sublime.
I mean, because Sublime went huge too. I mean, they were on like every 15-minute rotation on MTV was a Sublime video. I mean, it was not just like sub genre big, it was like max pop culture big there for a minute.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
Kudos to Lost for identifying. I mean, they're the ones who knew the band before I did.
well, and here's the thing though about Lost, as you were talking about. I always viewed those Lost movies as loved the surfing, loved the idea, but it just always seemed like 909 on the beach to me, which is what, Biolas, as much as he hates to claim it, is not from San Clemente. He's from Chino or Cheek, yeah, from Chino Hills or something, right? He is 909. Where Lost always had that, which Sublime had that too. It was like just 909. It was like poor taste. It wasn't I always thought that Taylor Steele stuff was like cooler. And maybe it's just when it hit me. And the Lost stuff was more raw, but with people who had no idea anything about culture or music or color palette or anything at all. Design. It was
I think
hideous.
that's a pretty I think that's a pretty accurate read.
Yeah. I mean, but did you like the 909ness of Lost as an aesthetic?
I never identified it. Like now that you're saying it, I see it clearly.
Yeah.
But when I was 16 and I saw that stuff, it was just so brash and intense, and the surfing was so impressive that it overwhelmed me.
I
But
mean, the
now that
surfing
I
is
think
wildly
of
impressive.
but now that I think about the art element of it or the presentation even, you're right. It is much more 909 than it is coastal California.
And for those listeners who don't know 909, 909 is the area code for inland Riverside. It's the Inland Empire. It is not coastal, which is a big monster energy drink, moto, fluorescent culture and has been forever.
It's an hour from the beach, and there's a stereotype, and it's a very different stereotype than the beach culture. So the
Yeah,
beach
but
culture almost uses that as a way to shame them.
Matt fully, I think Lost is and continues to be a reflection of the 909 that Matt Biolis keeps buried deep in his heart.
But Matt infused it into San Clemente and
Yeah,
rebranded San Clemente as that.
as 909. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. San Clemente is a 909 town, which is,
Well, not
that's,
anymore though. Not
uh,
anymore. That was only for those 10 years, I'd say.
I mean, I'm just saying they took the aesthetic. Like they have the Calo wearing the big, huge blenders or, giant sunglasses, and Griffin Colapinto dating a high schooler, and all of it is all still they imported 909 behavior, and now it's homegrown 909 behavior at the beach. It's 909 at the beach.
Um, stumbled onto two highly important things this show. So
Yep.
you didn't know the term 909 when you were in Coos Bay, Oregon.
No, no, no. And when
Okay.
you were talking about it too, that was the best part, or one of the best parts about being in Coos Bay. I shouldn't say best part, a great part about growing up in somewhere that's so far away from any kind of cultural relevance, except for as James and SD pointed out, like the proximity to grunge as it was happening in real time. That was all cool. But like in terms of, so I would bring, Pennywise. I would get Pennywise CDs from Columbia House and just be like, yeah, I'm listening to, I didn't really like Pennywise, but I thought this is surf music. This is so cool because it's surf music. Uh, but nobody ever in my high school was going to listen to Pennywise. I could be entirely alone. I like Pennywise.
So all of my introductions to music, Pennywise was introduced through Taylor Steele,
Yeah, me too.
his films.
Yes, of
Okay.
course. I would not have stumbled upon. I mean, that's why I just assumed it was surf music. I thought this is the new kind, we don't listen to Beach Boys. I knew that Beach Boys is uncool to listen to, but this is like real Beach Boys.
You know who is the adjacent to Beach Boy or the 2.0 for Beach Boys that was surf music to me initially?
Counting Crows.
No. That was a callback to Noble Rot for those who didn't listen. Um, Gary Hoey.
Oh, I fully, absolutely forgot about that. That's crazy town.
Do you remember Gary Hoey?
Didn't he fully brand as like surf music guy?
Gary Hoey played the soundtrack to the Endless Summer 2.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, and it was surf music.
I mean,
I
to
mean,
me,
as
it was like 1994 is when that film came out. I was 13 years old. I
yeah,
rented it. I watched it. I'm like, surfing is the greatest thing on earth. And that like wailing electric guitar, Gary
yeah,
Hoey, like as the like offshore wind is blowing back it's raining down the offshore wind off the back of the wave, and Gary Hoey's just wailing on the guitar. It was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And even that name, Gary
Gary
Hoey,
Hoey. I
you can
fully
just see
forgot
his
about that.
like I don't even know what Gary Hoey looks like, but I picture him with Michael Bolton's hair,
Oh
just
yeah,
like
for
wailing
sure.
on the guitar.
We should do a live watch party of Endless Summer 2 with both Pat and Wingnut on stage. Just like press pause and do commentary throughout. Ask questions.
It could be I mean, this could be incredible. We could go
How
on tour with this.
how funny would that be to ask him like,
It,
because it's a perfect movie for that because it's not and it hasn't Endless Summer 2 has not reached like cult status in any way. So I feel it's still people haven't watched it in like 20 years, right? Nobody's
I
like
haven't.
it's not like North Shore where you regularly are fed clips from it and it's fresh in your memory, or Point Break or Big Wednesday or any of the kind of cult. It like Endless Summer 2 never became
There's
cult, which is perfect for this.
there's no Instagram accounts dedicated to the Endless Summer 2 making fun of,
Yes. And or
paying
like
homage. Yeah.
celebrating or paying homage or it just straight up has went in the vault and has not been seen for 20 years.
And yet Pat O'Connell and Wingnut have worn that for the rest of their when they go out in public, they get recognized from that film and ask questions and annoyed by it. So we'll bring them on stage. We'll be like, "Hey, we're going to address it all tonight, and never again will you
One
have
and
to
done.
discuss this.
One and done. We should
Let's go
really
all out."
Rivian Theater, Laguna Beach. We got to make this happen.
How did that go, by the way?
It was great. It was good.
Okay,
Yeah. The
cool.
I didn't know as much about Greg McGillivray as I should have. And so I was myself fascinated just to learn about him more.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case, and no, no shame in that. Like when I first started recording or first started publishing Surf Splendor, it was 2013, and I had a pretty myopic focus on surfing. And over time, listeners would reach out and they're like, "You should interview so and so." And I'm like, "I've never even heard of that person."
Yeah.
So I do a little bit of research, and it's like, "Oh, I should probably know who that person is." And so I've accumulated knowledge along the way, and then interviewed Greg McGillivray at some point, then did a deep dive to interview him prior. And then once I interview him, then all of a sudden I'm like, this guy's phenomenal. Like I like him as a
Absolutely. He's
person,
yeah.
super talented. So then you start going into his work and appreciating the work. And yeah, it's good. It's an enriching
Yeah,
experience.
absolutely. And I'd always been aware of the name, and I just had never had, there was nothing attached to it, right? I just knew, okay, he did films and like kind of IMAX related stuff. But I didn't, yeah. But so, and both John and Kevin of the Florida Surf Film Festival, they had done epic research. And so they had like, good questions. And yeah, if anybody wants to listen, and is it live yet? I think it'll be up at the
I don't
Uh,
think so. I don't think it's live yet, but it'll be up on the Surf Stories podcast feed in the next week, probably.
Surf Stories podcast feed, and yeah, really good. Really, Greg McGillivray, interesting cat.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Okay, another what is this? Oh, follow up from last week. Dear DLS and Chaz, I enjoyed your nose guard chat the other week. After 8 months or about 8 months or so ago, I decided to have a recreation made of a magic board from my youth to see if it would magic if it would magically magic my current unmagic return to surfing at an advanced age. Narrator, it did not. As, as the original had a nose guard, I thought for completeness, this one should also. So I sought one out. After a month of struggling to slip the board into its board sock due to its frickin' rubber tip, I ripped the nose guard off in disgust and have never looked back except to rue the $15 Australian that I spent on it. Historically, I wouldn't use a sock, but I'm trying to avoid secondhand waxing of my interior of my car for various doubtlessly kooky reasons. Workity work, channel bottom.
Thank you so much, Channel Bottom. And man, we've certainly discussed the board sock before, and I'm glad that I feel that everyone who uses a board sock, if you're using one, you need to have a fairly lengthy explanation behind as to why you're using it, right? His Channel Bottom, I'm like, hey, I'll give you a pass. Like you're trying not to wax up your car. You don't like it, but I'll give you a pass. But anyone who uses a board sock, I'm passing in the beach parking lot. I'm saying, why the hell are you? What's possessing you to do this right now?
So I'm I've thought about this deeply because I'm anti-board sock because of the effort required.
Yes.
But Channel Islands gave me the Snuggie 2.0 2 years ago, and I use it and I love it. And I thought about this. I'm like, well, why did I like not only not use it, but then shame other people who did use it? And
Yeah.
the answer was I didn't want to spend $100 on a board sock. That's the only difference. If someone gives one to me, I love it. I'm like, this thing's incredible. I don't know why I don't always use this because it's $100 for a sock.
Has the technology got better?
Yes,
Uh,
the rail of the Channel Islands 2.0 Snuggie is padded. So
so
it's like
it does some protection.
absolutely. It's like a fleece that you would wear from Patagonia, and then it's padded around the perimeter. And so it's got some form to it. It's not loose.
So I think I have emotional trauma as like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old.
This all
Uh
comes back. This all comes back to the same
like
age.
peeling off a board sock that didn't do anything. And I only got it because I thought that's what you did. I thought you have to, if you get a surfboard, if you have a surfboard, you have to have a board sock, right? So spending the extra birthday money on the board sock and then being out in the sun and just peeling it off, just waxy mess everywhere. You get done with your surf, you like kind of struggle it back on. It's even more of a waxy mess. Like it was just for nothing. And then I would get the waxy mess, struggle bus, and then look at the board and boom, there's a big old ding from like, so not only am I struggling around here, not only is this a giant mess, there's nothing protective about this thing.
They've gotten better. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It took them a long time to perfect it because it would, yeah, if you leave the in a hot environment or whatever, then the
Even
wax
a
melts to
warm
the
environment.
sock. Yeah. So the wax would melt to the sock and it's a peeling problem. And then putting it back on, you have to have resistance. So you have to have the
Yeah.
board on its tail. And now you're holding it and you're trying to like get the sock loose over the top. But then once you're pulling it down around the wide part of the board, it's too snug because like they didn't have the right amount of elasticity in them for a period of time. So it's like then that part's snug, and then you have to like, okay, now you got to put the nose down so you could tie up the zip tie on the back. It was a lot of work.
I think I smashed more than one board's tail on the trying to get it over the middle part and then having it slip off the foot and dunk
Yeah.
into the cement. Yeah, we're just
So so
curse you board sock.
again, back to the expense part. You had to save up the money or use the birthday money for this thing, and then it wasn't quite right. And so you got
Yeah.
burned.
And not
But
only was it not quite right, it made the whole thing way worse. It made a worse, it wrecked you. Now you're dinged your board and you got a messy wax everywhere.
yeah, well, I think Channel Islands 2.0 Snuggie solved it, and um, getting wax in your car as a grown ass man is a little bit more problematic. I'd had vehicles in my life where there was wax melted into the carpet, like it just
Everywhere.
never,
Yeah.
it's that car exists somewhere on the planet. Somebody's driving it and it's still that way. My car now can't let that happen.
I got the 2013 Volkswagen Jetta wagon that was driven to Nashville, Tennessee, and then driven back. And that car is that. There's so much wax everywhere, and it's just like given entirely up. It's just 90% sand at this point and wax.
Exactly. Good if you could have one car dedicated to it.
Yep.
Um, Also follow up. Remember we were talking about don't say gay, Butterface.
Yes.
uh, on the subject of Butterface, I urge you to check out Naked Attraction, a UK show still on air where contestants stand in a booth and have their bodies slowly revealed from toe to head, with one contestant being eliminated after each reveal. Both men and women are judged incrementally by their feet, then their legs, then their genitals, then torso, and finally their face. It is hilarious work.
Naked Attraction. Thank you for the tip. I know what I'm watching tonight.
Have you heard of this?
No, but it sounds great.
I had not heard of it either. I didn't look it up before reading it to you, but I'm presuming he said they show their genitals.
I mean, I'm assuming that they've got to be in Speedo slash bikini.
He said they show their genitals.
I mean, well,
So
we're gonna have to
maybe
do
maybe they
the
blur it
genital
out for the
region.
viewer at home. No, I
Yeah.
bet they show them for the judges or whoever's doing, yeah, whatever, whoever's on the
Oh,
show, but
you think it's a blur out?
for the viewers at home,
Yeah. I mean, for sure for the viewers at home, but okay, so you're saying blur out. I'm gonna say they do their genital area. Men are in Speedo, women in bikini.
the fact that he said genitals makes me feel like they show it, but I don't know what's allowed in the UK.
I'm sure you can't do full frontal nudity in the UK during uh game show hours.
Okay. All right, I'm
Naked
curious.
Attraction. Getting to the bottom.
Um, Between our various viewing parties that you and I need to do, we need to commit like a month to television watching.
Absolutely.
Okay. Shall we go to commercial break? Come back with
Let's do
Barrel
it.
or Not? All right, Chaz, back with Barrel or Not.
Did you lead us in with the sweet sounds of Jack Johnson?
I can if you want. What song do you want to hear?
uh, I think the one that I don't even know. I only know Banana Pancakes and Bubble Toes or whatever by name, but the name Bubble Toes is so frustrating that I think we do that one.
I'm gonna look it up real quick because I think that might have been on the album that I bought, and that was the one song that I could never wrap my head around.
Bubble
In
Toes.
term, yeah, in terms of like, what does this even mean? It's as simple as something that nobody knows, that her eyes are as big as her bubbly toes.
Oh, it's
On
so
the feet
gross.
of on the feet of a queen of the hearts of the cards, and her feet are all covered with tar balls and scars. It's as
I
common as
mean,
someone as somebody knows. I remember when you and me, how good or how we used to look, or how we used to just be good friends. Wouldn't give me none, but all I wanted was some. She's got a whole lot of reasons. Yeah, I don't know. It's about her
gross.
having bubbly toes, which
That's
yeah, is kind of
bubbly.
gross.
Bubbly toes is a absolutely disgusting descriptor because I don't even know what it's supposed to begin to mean,
I don't either.
and
I
I don't
don't
want to
like it.
know.
Are you? So I don't know what conversation this fits in, or I can connect this to as an appropriate segue, but um, Are you offended by feet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I'm offended by people who are unaware if they have cruddy feet and are the like feet that should be shod and are out there blasting them. But that
Yeah.
is a aesthetic thing that's not specific to feet. That's just like shows to me a physical lack of awareness that, oh, speaking of, uh man, I finally saw Cartnarks. Uh
Oh, you did?
it is epic. Cartnarks is like the funniest Instagram feed ever. Speaking of people who are unaware. And I realized I got ever get caught, if I ever am lucky enough to get caught by the Cartnark, uh I'll have an explanation of what I'm doing, and he will back that because I'm not being a lazy bones and I am not being a litter bug.
I told you the same thing. I want to go toe to toe with that guy. I want to
Yeah,
let him know he's entirely wrong.
yeah.
And
In one thing, because the people he's right getting right. They're people parking their carts behind other people's cars or in walkways. They're not. He's never going to the far end of the parking lot and getting somebody to put who's pushing it to the far end.
yeah, no, he's right. In every video I've watched of his, he's
Yeah,
right, but I still want him to catch me.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
funny though.
Okay. Barrel or not. Uh, Kneeboarding. And the email came through and it said, die on your feet or live on your knees. Let me explain. Over the last year or so, I've been dying on my feet. No longer can I go from my cobra pose to standing sideways on my board in one snappy, smooth motion. And my enjoyment level has diminished together with water time. This skill has eroded over time as of 2020. Longboarding was my go to. Now, at the age of 70, I have transitioned to kneeboarding. Man, what a great little subculture in terms of how you ride the wave and the nuances of board design. So, die on your feet or live on your knees. In other words, barrel or gnaw, kneeboarding. Work, Salty Pete in South Australia.
Salty Pete, thank you so much. An absolute barrel. Any of the surfing subgenre that are weird, drop knee bodyboarding. Huge fan. Kneeboarding, great. You have carved out something weird from something that was already pretty weird, right? Surfing is pretty weird, let's be frank, and you've gone one deeper. Uh, this does not apply to stand-up paddleboarding, just for listener at home who wants to get confused. That is an abomination in the lineup. But kneeboarding, absolutely. There, my chiropractor dude who is a phenomenal guy. He kneeboards and he loves kneeboarding like big blacks and stuff. And I'll see pictures and he's like just ripping, just so deep and bottom turns so like, just dug in. Like I cannot hate at all.
You really can't. And when you see those guys, they're in the most critical section of the wave. They're taking off on waves you cannot take off on stand up surfing. And to Salty Pete's point, is board design. They modified board design to accommodate those things. And obviously, the fish comes from kneeboarding and it just has tons of applicability. So those guys are crushing.
Barrel.
Guys and girls,
Yeah.
presumably. I don't know. I've never seen a girl kneeboarder, but I'm sure they exist.
Yes.
Second, coming through from a listener, longtime listener, and sometime caller. Let me find it. Oh my God, I have to put in a password. Hold on. Can you hear this?
Good afternoon, David and Chaz. This is Kevin, formerly from Ventura with the Barrel or Gnaw. So I've been seeing a lot of stickers, student, driver, please be patient, all that stuff. So two-part question. Student driver stickers on your car if you're a student driver, and B, the recent trend I've seen is crappy adult drivers in my neighborhood are throwing those on their cars as well because they're pissing people off on the road and they're trying to get a little leeway. So, barrel or nah, those nice yellow student driver be patient stickers. Adios and keep work.
Evan, formerly from Ventura.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And absolutely no barrel on either students or crappy adult drivers. I don't know. You get better. We all become or have the potential to become diamonds from lumps of coal under pressure. You need the pressure of somebody ripping up on your backside, and you're in the left lane going and realizing instead of give me grace here, because what are you going to learn then? You're not going to learn anything. You need to offend people and then get blasted into your place and then learn, okay, this is offensive, this is offensive. That's how you learn to be a good driver is awareness of I need to improve. Telling people, take it easy on me doesn't give you the pressure to become a diamond.
Have you ever adjusted your behavior based on seeing that sticker?
I will if I see it is a honest to goodness, like struggling, shy, nerdy, whatever student behind the wheel, like a young, very young person, then I won't go aggressive. But I'm doing that person a disservice. That person is not becoming a better driver because I've now backed off enforcing right etiquette on the road.
The reason that sticker doesn't work is because everybody who's driving thinks that they are in the right. They think
Yeah.
that their style of driving is the way that every other driver should drive. And so if I'm going 90 in the fast lane, I don't go 90. If I was going 85 in the fast lane and I come up to somebody who's going 65, which is the speed limit, and they have a baby on board sticker, I don't look at that and go, I'm going to stop going 85.
No.
You know what I mean? It's get the F. Why would you put your baby in danger by going 65 in the fast lane? My way is the right way. You're an idiot for driving in the fast lane going 65. Get the hell out of here. So the stickers don't convey anything.
No, and also the stickers are I am a special case. The entire world needs to adjust to me, which is why we're in this problem that we're in already. Maybe think, no, I'm not a special case. I should figure out how to benefit the larger group instead of trying to make the larger group benefit me.
Peel the sticker off.
Yep. Goodbye.
I can't imagine though what he said, where there's people using the sticker falsely
to justify bad behavior.
Yeah, like they know they're a shitty driver and they're getting flack, so they're going to put a student sticker on their cars so that people don't honk at them anymore.
Hard for me to think that actually happens as well. I could imagine a person, because the parent who will put that on the car for their student driver is I'm gonna say a crappy person to begin with, right? A bad parent, crappy person. So that person is keeping that sticker on their car, trying to milk benefit from it after their child is moved on.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Definitely what it is. Which I'm going to make a note. We can come back to it later, but you can do that with a handicap placard.
You can?
For grandma. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if your mom has the handicap placard, but she kind of stopped driving, you could borrow that thing.
Do you?
No, I don't. I've never been in this scenario. I'm just painting a future scenario that we can discuss.
Yeah, but man, I am more offended by that than anything almost. When I see able-bodieds when I see able-bodieds fully get out, rage.
All right, don't reveal your hand yet. We will discuss.
Okay.
Final before dinner time here.
Yo, DLS and Chaz. I'm gonna keep this short for a barrel and nah. Coozie and a non-alcoholic beverage. Is that just reserved? Is the Coozie reserved for alcoholic beverages, or can you slip a Coke in there or a seltzer? All right, you guys. Cheers.
What say you?
Important. And I'm going to say this is purely dependent upon the temperature where you live. If you are hot, humid land, and you crack a Coke, there's no way that Coke, unless you're gonna shotgun it, is going to be cold at all by the time you get to the bottom. So I say Coozie is fine for non-alcoholic beverages in the deep south. Coozie is not fine for non-alcoholic beverages in anywhere where it's like temperate.
regardless of alcohol content in the drink itself.
Uh, you're not a Koozie man, full stop.
I'm not a koozie man, full stop.
I mean, I feel about the Koozie like I do about the Boardsock. I don't use it, but when I see people on the beach down here in Southern California with koozies on, I'm assuming they are blocking plausible deniability, blocking from lifeguards, seeing as there is a no alcohol on the beach policy. And so that's how I was okay, you're, this is like a glorified paper bag. It's a paper bag. I guess it's the Channel Islands Snuggie. What's it called? Snuggie 2?
2.0.
That's what it is. So it's the Channel Island Snuggie 2.0. What they did, what the Koozie people did, is they took paper bag to hide your booze, and they said, we're going to give it a little padding. We're going to make it be a little bit, I don't know, keep your drink cold, a little colder.
a little more classy, basically.
Yeah.
Like the brown paper bag got a bad rap. So we are now elevating that a little bit, and you can be discreet about it.
And
Which
you get
makes me like it a little bit more.
a slight amount of cooling effect on there.
Cooling So I am not a fan because it's one additional thing to keep track of. It's one
Extra
additional
stuff.
thing.
Uncool.
Yeah, just extra stuff, right? And then also the negligible difference in temperature
It doesn't
isn't
really
enough
make a difference.
to switch.
Yeah.
Doesn't make that much of a difference. And it's also like, look, I know my pacing of a beer. I know how quickly it cools down and how fast I need to drink it in order to get to the bottom of it before I get a new cold one. I've accepted that as a reality in my life. Now, if I'm going to slow that down 45 seconds, that's stupid. That's not enough.
But if you're,
you know what I mean?
I will give though, again, if you are sitting in a Georgia swamp, if you're down there fishing for whatever you fish for in Georgia swamps, and you pull a Modelo out, nothing is grosser than a warm Modelo. Uh, so I could see trying to do anything you can to inch some more life out of that thing.
I guess I don't make that effort, even if I have champagne, like an expensive bottle of champagne, no ice bucket.
Yeah. Oh, you just
No
go.
ice bucket.
You just go till you go.
Well, we pull it out of the fridge, we open it, and it sits there until we finish it.
Wow.
And the temperature changes and it tastes different, and that's part of the journey.
What about if you are at a restaurant and you buy a bottle of champagne and they bring the ice bucket out? Do you say, nope, nope, shoo shoo, return that? Or if it's provided for you, do you take it because you're not having to fuss and muss?
I I if it takes too much communication to like have them break the rules, then I'm not going to make them break their rules. But if it is easy just to be like, bro, just leave the bottle, I'll handle it from this point on the table, I would far prefer that.
Wow.
I also don't like the water dribbling everywhere.
That's
So,
water does dribble.
yeah, so that's a hassle too. So, no fuss, no muss. The result is I have to drink something that's 8 degrees warmer than I intended. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I like it. I like the toughness.
Exactly. Well, that's the other thing. You're trying to protect your delicate little hand from the little cold bottle that it's holding.
It's
No,
true. I
wake
mean,
sauce.
the real bummer is that it's just extra stuff. Like I feel throw anything almost in the extra stuff category into the same bucket and then drive it to the trash, from rinse kits to changing mats to any extra stuff I don't need. I'd rather have a world with no extra stuff than a world with all the extra stuff.
100%. And you will appreciate the details more, spend less money, and live a simpler life. Um, as long as it's not the Snuggie 1.0. Keep the
Yep.
2.0 handy.
2.0.
The 1.0 can go back. Yeah.
Good.
All right. I think we solved it once again.
Great.
All right. Good work.
Yeah. I think we got to the bottom of a lot of stuff, and hopefully we hear from Jack Johnson's people soon. Cannot wait to have him on the show.
Full Jack Johnson episode.
Yeah. Oh man, love it. We'll go through the discography.
I can't believe there's more than one album. Like, I know that he did make multiples, but is he still making albums? How much can you do with 3 chords?
I mean, I really don't know. I don't know. It's time. It's time. We've spent 2 episodes now. It's time for me to come back next week with more knowledge and opinion about Jack Johnson.
Okay, we'll work on that. And Jack, if you want to join the show, defend yourself. We're
Come
here
on
for
in,
it.
please.
All right, good show. I'll be back in America on Monday's Noble Rot. So let's
Great.
do that.
Fantastic.
All right,
See you then.
Keep work.
Bye.
Great.